The Galactic Xenobiology Conference had studied thousands of predator species across the known universe. The Corvan Deathstalkers with their acid saliva. The Zephyrian phantom cats that could phase through solid matter. The crystalline hunters of Vega that killed with resonant frequencies. Yet when Professor ZYX Theta presented her findings on humans, the auditorium fell into stunned silence. Honored colleagues, she began, her tentacles trembling slightly, we have fundamentally misunderstood what makes an apex predator. We looked for fangs, claws, venom. We measured speed, strength, stealth. But humans evolved beyond all of that. The holographic display showed a human unremarkable by galactic standards. No natural weapons. Mediocre speed. Laughable strength compared to most predators. Observer the Corvan Deathstalker, ZYX Theta continued, displaying the galaxy's most feared hunter. Perfectly evolved to kill. So perfect, in fact, that it hasn't changed in a million years. It doesn't need to. But therein lies the limitation, it can only be what it is. The display shifted. A human persistence hunting, jogging after prey for hours. Humans evolved something far more terrifying than claws. They evolved to make everything else irrelevant. Too slow to catch prey? They developed endurance hunting, following animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. No natural weapons? They made them. Too weak? They built machines that multiplied their strength 1,000-fold. But many species use tools, interrupted Dr. Krex from the Altarian delegation. Yes, ZYX Theta agreed. But humans didn't stop there. Observe this footage from Earth. The hologram showed a human child no more than 5 years old playing with a domesticated wolf, a creature that should be a competitor and enemy. The child was teaching it to fetch a ball. Other predators compete. Humans convert. They took wolves' rival predators and transformed them into companions. They didn't defeat them, they recruited them. The apex predator of Earth's ice age now guards their homes and plays with their young. The display cycled through image after image. Humans riding horses, prey animals turned into transportation. Humans with hunting birds perched on their arms. Humans swimming with creatures that should terrify them, instead studying and protecting them. Every predator in the galaxy is trapped by its nature, ZYX Theta explained. A Deathstalker will always be a Deathstalker. But humans? They're whatever they need to be. They fly without wings. Swim without gills. See in the dark without nocturnal eyes. They don't evolve to meet challenges, they evolve the challenge itself. Surely you exaggerate, scoffed Ambassador Thekvar. They're still just flesh and blood. Are they? ZYX Theta brought up new images. This human lost her legs. So she built better ones and now runs faster than before. This one's heart failed. They installed an artificial one. They're already discussing uploading consciousness to machines. At what point do they stop being the predator they were and become something else entirely? But their most terrifying trait, she continued, is this. The display showed a human research station on a frozen world, scientists carefully nurturing alien plant species in greenhouses. They don't just hunt. They cultivate. They took random wild grains and turned them into crops. They took Orcs and made cattle. They're not just predators, they're ecosystem engineers. They don't adapt to environments, they force environments to adapt to them. And now they're doing it to us, ZYX Theta said quietly. How many of our technologies have they improved and returned to us? How many of our societies have they subtly influenced just by existing? They hunt ideas the way their ancestors hunted mammoth. Persistence. Patience. Inevitability. The conference sat in contemplative silence as the final image appeared. Earth from space. Lights twinkling across continents they'd shaped, surrounded by satellites and stations. Their influence spreading inexorably outward. The final evolution of a predator, ZYX Theta concluded, isn't faster reflexes or sharper teeth. It's the ability to make the entire concept of predation obsolete. To transform from hunter to shepherd, from destroyer to creator, while never losing the ability to be either. That's why the galaxy calls them the final evolution. Not because they're the ultimate killers, but because they've transcended killing itself. And that, colleagues, is far more terrifying than any fang or claw could ever be. The conference ended without its usual debates. There was nothing to dispute. The evidence surrounded them, in their improved technologies, their changed perspectives, their inadvertent adoption of human concepts. The apex predator had evolved past predation. And it was already changing them all.